One of them that I was thinking about was Oni Village that we're starting on apparently now. So interesting to see what's going to be played up here, as we do see the entire game already. The draft's coming through as well, and as I feel like the kind of theme of this tournament has been so far, lockdown goalies being selected from both sides.
Yeah, and we saw that when we played against each other yesterday.
Yes.
They seem very strong, and especially on this map, in any meta really, it's traditionally lockdown goalies, but especially right now, with Dubu looking so strong and Atlas as well, we might have a long one on our hands here. And yeah, like we talked about, there's a lot of history, and it's kind of always been Sundubu's map, Oni Village. But I think we kind of get to see here if it's more about Grimella, if it's more about 3Z, or who's going to be more dominant on this map, which I assume both teams are pretty happy to be on here.
Yeah, most definitely. I do favor, in terms of just raw team comp, I do favor the side of Polar Cortex, soon Polar Cortex a little bit better, because they have the Estelle. Estelle's just such a valuable pick on a map like Oni Village. It can just do so much, create so much pressure, and even though Shape is on a solid Atlas goalie, Estelle can be one of the characters that can play around it pretty well.
Yeah, and you're already seeing just how difficult that Dubu is to get through. And yeah, the Amy, like the secondary was the thing that got nerfed in this last patch. I don't know who did that. But that's really the way that you would punish these out clears, and the cooldown being longer, I think, will be in effect here. So we'll see if Grimella can make use of those opportunities. But so far, it is Soon Polar Cortex who have the goal open first here. A lot of energy built on their side as well. We'll see if A or the Fool can potentially use this flip to score, but they're having to play a lot of defense right now.
Yeah, very much so, especially with Snake having a flip available for himself as well. It's a bit dangerous to be losing that barrier, but as of right now, Polar Cortex can't give it away, but a beautiful cancel from Snake actually will take the barrier. Flip coming out to answer the situation as Freezy's trying to get an attack through, but Shape's holding strong in the attack, as now both midfielders have a flip soon, and A just got his through in the end. Beautiful goal to get the lead for Polar Cortex in this first set.
Yeah, hit it off of the Asher ultimate, so it's 3Z getting credit for the goal. And I think we're going to see a lot of that getting to overtime. Both goals end up being open, but it takes so much to get through this Atlas and this Dubu, who both have no energy right now, so it's kind of a window where those evade clears aren't possible. Maybe they can get something, but we'll see if that's able to happen in time as one barrier goes down. 3Z now trying to set up in the corner, but a lot of space for Shape Grimella to play defense here.
Yeah, and the Tofu Fortress is just such a solid answer as well into the Amy turret, right? Because Amy turret's so difficult to deal with due to the constant pressure. Well, you don't need to worry about it if you have just a wall, right, that just catches all of it. So, really good answer from the Fool there, as the side of Go are trying to get this, their first barrier. But right as it stands right now, Soon Polar Cortex are doing a very solid job at keeping up the attack and keeping up the pressure.
Yeah, and on this map, I know this is something that both of these teams think about. I think the Dubu and the Asher are going to be really strong at when the vertical barriers are on the same side. When you can push up and put that Asher ult on the short side and you can put the Dubu ult as well, it's going to be so much pressure and you just get the core bouncing around where you're not having to use as many cooldowns. So I think that's really going to be what they go for. And the side of Go is going to look for more of this setup where you have them in the opposite corners, because I think it's going to work stronger to their dash-focused offense.
Yeah, exactly, and as well it makes it more difficult for 3Z, as you said, because the Asher, she's not really like mobile, so you want to play in one lane and push from one lane. So if you're playing opposite barriers like that, you have to cross to top and bottom continuously and kind of make that trek, which Asher doesn't really do that well in. But we'll see how it's going to play out, because two flips have been dropped. It's immediately going into chaos again, and Snake needs to get that Atlas ultimate to stay alive. But still, no second barrier drop from either side. Both of these goalies doing so well defensively.
Yeah, I am interested if the KOs ever end up being a factor here. It seems like in this first set, there's just not enough for it to happen. It's a great save from Shape, just barely getting it away that time. So far, the Atlas ult has been used once. We had one person staggered, but really it's just 3v3 the entire time, and who can use their cooldowns better. And we're in overtime here, still 2 barriers up.
Barriers up. I feel like the game's already been going for like almost 5 minutes, and we're not even 2 points in. At least that's what it feels like. Flip coming out from Shape there as well to hold on to the barrier. The ultimate not able to find the barrier in the end. And Snake's trying to get an attack going, but the Fool again answering so smartly as well. The flip from Freezy coming out, doing the job to get the barrier out, but Shape's still going to be there to hold the barrier. But a great redirect from Freezy will actually put it into the net, and this is going to put Soon Polar Cortex up 2-0.
Yeah, really well done there. Waited till the Atlas was out of cooldowns to get the barrier with the flip there, and then a beautiful dribble as well. As much as Asher doesn't have as much mobility as a lot of other brawlers like Zentaro, she still has a lot of different kind of mix-ups like what you just saw there.
Yeah, most definitely. And also a lot of just pure force, as both barriers immediately drop, and Shape not able to hold on to that. Now still has some abilities available to himself, more than likely, but Atlas on open goal is very difficult to play out, and especially if you're going into something like an Estelle that can just hit your cross clear so well. We're going to have to see how Shape's going to be approaching the situation, as the side of Go are going to try to get the second barrier down.
Yeah, and Grimella trying to set up, using the dash, using the glitch pop, just has no abilities now, except for the turret. We'll see if that gets any value, but there's just so much room for the Fool to work with every single time. As A now is very low, we'll see if they can find a KO. Not a lot of cooldowns up to try to confirm it, but he does take a dash there. Still staggered maybe, still pushed out of the play for now, but the Dubu just has so much space to work with and they're not able to do it for now.
Yeah, it's so difficult to find the KO confirm on a map like this. Even though A is getting low again, Snake probably waiting on the ultimate here and will get the kill to confirm. Power play now in favor of Go. Can they actually get the barrier? You know, the flip from the Fool comes through and Shape not able to react in time and properly. As the core's going to find its way in. The Fool with a beautiful flip there is going to secure Soon Polar the first set victory here and going to get a first pick to 3Z.
Yeah, and I think maybe even reacted a little too early because he sent the Atlas primary up. It was already past where the core was. He had the read, but just did it a bit too early, so that'll go through. And it is 3Z who's going to get the first pick here. No size showing up, so I think there's no super clear first option. Oh, no, there is the one size in the corner, so it'll be that, and that'll mean that Dubu doesn't get any size, which is important, but does get the extra special, which will help them, I think, on offense and on defense. So a very strong start for them. But Amy getting the dash range is, I think, exactly what they needed. It means you have to deny it away from the Zentaro, but at least one of them getting that, I think, will be very important.
Yeah, the Centauro also getting Adrenaline Rush maybe opens up some kind of damage win condition later on in the game. Right now, you still need more Awakenings to properly scale into it, but it opens up that window. It opens up that opportunity to try to play for that in future drafts as well. And Siege Machine also, a very strong pickup for shapeshifting there, as range on Atlas is just so strong.
Yeah, and I think especially on this map, you'll even feel it more when you're on the defense. Like for the Fool and A, you'll feel those Atlas primaries coming from so far when shapeshifting is able to push up. But right now, he's having to stay on that barrier because they're the first one with one down. 3Z having to drop back and get the orb for now. A couple strike wars lost. Somehow the core goes straight through there, so they will get one barrier. They'll set themselves up for offense, back pass to Shape as well, but a little miscommunication as Grimella dashed up. The core went down, so they move back to defense now. They have a lot of energy. The Fool not quite having the Tofu Fortress yet, but 3Z going for the angle, but a bit of some MOBA aim there means that it misses.
Yeah, and the attack is going again but into the side of Soon Polar as of right now. 2 flips available, almost 3 on the side of Go as well. We'll see if they can make use of those. But as it stands right now, the attack's coming through. The extra special is going to show its worth as the Tofu Fortress comes through. 2 abilities being used to defend to it. The barrier still up, but KO being found on 3Z there actually. That's where that explosive entrance is coming in. Grimella finding that, and they cannot get past the Fool. He's holding it down so well. Doesn't even have to use a flipper, it just finds the strikes. Flip coming up from Grimella, Snake trying to get it, but no, the strikes are still good. The Fool holding on still, and the barrier still stands.
Yeah, beautiful defense by the Fool there. And you know, you have a lot of championship kind of winning pedigree on both sides in this match, but for A and the Fool, it's been NASA that they won. You add a former LAN winner in 3Z to this side, and then on the other side you have the other 2 LAN winners, so it's just a lot of experience. I don't think the nerves are quite getting to anyone, but right now it's just the execution that's been that way for Polar, as we're still on the first point of this set.
Yeah, and they're just fighting back and forth continuously. 3Z being staggered there as well, needs to get the bear, get some orbs, but A with a beautiful interrupt there on the Estelle, finds the angle. Grimella not able to interrupt with it anymore, and Shape doesn't have the ability to reach it. So after a very, very long point, Soon Polar are able to find the first goal of the second set.
Yeah, and it feels like with the dash range on Amy, the dashes and the ults from Zen as well, they should be able to keep a more consistent offense and kind of, you know, keep those out clears on their side of offense. But it doesn't feel like they've just quite got into their rhythm yet, and I'm not sure what kind of changes they need to make. I'm sure they're trying to talk about that right now, but it just seems like Super Polar Cortex is executing better, and 3Z finding a KO on the side there. Atlas had the ult potentially for himself, but didn't use it, and A with a great show of the patience there sends it to the top side, and that's 5 points to Soon Polar Cortex.
Yeah, I think it's just the simplicity of the comp that Soon Polar has, right? You have very, very I don't want to say simple, but non-complicated game plans on Asher and Dubu, right? Once holding down the back, Asher's just going to try to push through Shape on the defense. And they're able to successfully do that, and you have that glue character as Estelle in the middle that can just connect these cores from the back to the front continuously, while being such a menace at dealing with cross clears as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have Go, who's playing an Amy Centauro, which are still very effective, but they're a lot more heavy on the execution side. You need to find the abilities at the right time. You need to find the abilities at the right angle to really get those barriers. And if you're going up against something like a Dubu, and especially the Fool on the Dubu, it's just really difficult to do that consistently, and that's kind of where the score is right now as well, as almost a second barrier drops as well, but still, barrier stands.
Yeah, they had a great execution as far as the positioning there, but Grimella just barely missed the second barrier. He invested the flip there as well, but Threezy did go down. A might be next as they go for the barrier. They're going for the kill a bit as well, as Snake would love to get this Adrenaline Rush proc here, but A is doing a great job staying alive. Grimella finds himself a bit low as well now that Threezy's back up, almost kills his former teammate there, but both are staying up for now, so the KO still not be able to be found, but it does go on to Grimella there, and it switches the other way. Now it is Polar Cortex who have the power play. They also have the barriers set up that they're looking for. The wall went in there, a great dash from Snake, and it's just so hard for either team to get through these goalies right now.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Both Atlas do, just being so strong defensively, and you can see that with all these interrupts. But when you find an angle like that, or an angle that Threezy just found, just gets it around the ability so well, dashes down as well, and breaches it, just puts it in the top corner. Shape doesn't have an ability to answer it anymore, and this game has been everything Polar so far, as they're taking yet another, I believe, 3-0 set.
Yeah, not a single point found. As close as the points themselves have been, it's all the execution on the side of Polar Cortex. And this goes map pick as well, so a little bit scary for them. They're going to look for the scaling here, and it is Atlas who has that first pick, which is a little bit unfortunate for the rest of them. But I think there's still enough that they're going to be able to get something here. The Dubu denies the speed away from Zentaro, who's going to wait with the pick here. Threezy getting even more sizes. It's really undeniable there with both and Big Fish showing up. He will find some speed himself and some survivability in peak performance, and Grimella will go for that stinger, so I think they really need to find these Adrenaline Rush procs if they're going to turn these points around from how they have been going. But it's a lot found for the side, that hot shot and the size on Asher as well. So I think Sundubu really, Polar Cortex rather, really has everything that they need to close this one out.
Yeah, most definitely, especially if you do need to find these KOs, right? You did have some awakenings for yourself for Go to try to find them, but look at what Polar's got. They got Stagger Swagger on the Fool, so now if you're trying to get the Dubu, he's just going to run up and be a forward menace. Big Fish gives you not only size for Threezy, but it also gives you some HP to be working with, and SL as a base is already very evasive. Hotshot giving you more cooldowns, and especially that core speed, just making it even faster in transitional play, is going to be very, very strong for Polar. And you saw that already, because the points that felt like taking like 8 minutes at least almost,
yeah,
just are done within the first 30 seconds of it, because Polar is just such a strong setup now.
And it's Deadeye and Hotshot as well, so those crosscores are really going to be as you see the core speed right there. Threezy now with the flip, being patient, and it ends up finding it. The primary as well takes out shapeshifting, so now just need to get the core in a scoring position, and it's Threezy. Feels like he's been doing that all game, just winning the strike wars when they count once the goal is open. And that's an 8-0 so far. Backs completely against the wall for Go here, and we'll see if they can turn it around, but it feels like it's all soon Cortex.
Yeah, and you can see that in the levels as well, by the way. On average, a level to 2 differences between the players. It's just so much control on the side of Polar. Snake trying to find an angle here, but that Dofu Fortress just shuts it down immediately. They do get a KO and a barrier with it. This is their chance to find their first goal of the game, so we'll see if they can do it. Grimella has a flip available as well, does not use it just yet. Defense holding on, Threezy and the Fool doing so good defensively there, but a nice flick from Snake will actually find the goal. This is an important goal for the Go, but they still need a lot more if they do want to start winning this game.
Yeah, they found the KO very quickly there, which feels like the only win condition they have, really, with that Adrenaline Rush. So there's a lot of damage on the side of Amy. The Zentaro can make it happen as well, but it feels like you have to have perfect execution and some mistakes on the other side to get those KOs. Found one there. They found a few in other points. That was the first time they were finally able to convert one of those for a goal, as a great offensive opportunity for a moment there for Zoom, but now having to fall back for the defense. It gets through the IME turret though, so it will set up very quickly. Amy going to out of position, but it is won by Snake and shapeshifting on that side lane, so maybe a bit of momentum in their direction finally.
Yeah, we will see Shape getting the top clear as well. The Fool's there to answer it. There's a flip available on Threezy and the Fool as the Tough Fortress comes out as well. Threezy not able to find the core with a flip though. Now no evades, potentially a target of a KO here as well. Flip from Grimella coming out to kind of interrupt the play as Snake's trying to dribble up top, trying to get the core up, but the Fool's going to be there to answer it. 3C down to Stagger, so that's probably going to be their win column. Grimella or Snake trying to secure that KO if they can, but A almost gets Grimella off the map, matter of fact. As the KO gets found, another power play now for the side of Go. 3v2, can they find the attack, though the Fool has a flip available as well if he does want to use it. Pass is going up and down, and it goes past the somersault. Excellent angle to be found by Go, and suddenly they're just one goal away from finding a set victory here.
Yeah, it's a angle both on the pass and on the shot because they both got out of the way of the roll. That does mean that the flip stays up for the Fool, but just 1 point needing to be found. And that time, Snake actually didn't get the Adrenaline Rush proc on that KO, so it seemed like maybe the play would dissolve just in time. Although great coverage by A and 3Z here means they're just 1 point away. The core is in the corner here, and the flip on the Fool as well means not a lot of pressure on that side, so it's going to be a big hill to climb in this point for them. But Snake finding the KO, the Adrenaline Rush as well, and this could be what they need to end this game.
We'll see if they can, though, because the Fool has a flip as well. They can definitely get through the power play. Best case scenario, you at least get the flip out of him, though. But as it stands right now, Ace doing such a good job holding on, and the piercing shot will do it. Ryan gets caught off guard there. The KO coming through. And soon Polar finding that first game victory in a 3-0 fashion. Go was having a run back, trying to find their way back. But the advantage from Soon Polar was just a bit too strong.
Yeah, and I didn't see if an evade was available for Shape there, but that was the Deadeye that A got in that second draft that made that happen there. And it felt like maybe the momentum was starting to shift, like there was a window for them to bring it back, but 3Z and A were just converting so well. You see 4 goals for each of them, a very balanced attack the entire time. And it is the first map, which was Go's pick, going to them in 3-0 fashion. So, you know, this is Seed 1 against Seed 5. I think everyone expected this to be close, but that first map going in that fashion has to be pretty encouraging if you're a Super Cortex fan.
Yeah, most definitely. I do wonder where the draft went as well in terms of the first pick, because obviously getting a first pick on a start like this and on a map like this, it is so valuable. And I feel like that kind of came into play this time around as well, that they just decided Super Cortex just got themselves a really nice comp to play with. Probably an Estelle first pick is what I would imagine, as it just allows everything to be picked around it and do well with it. And it kind of really came into play this time around. And I'm curious to see how the next game is going to plan out or play out as we're going into Night Market, where now the side select is going to go into Go's favor. Maybe they can secure themselves a pick they really wanted to be playing for.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, will that end up being Dubu? Because it looked very strong there. It's looked very strong all weekend. It's hard to say how much of that game was the Dubu versus the Atlas, if it was really about the Estelle, or if it's just execution and one team playing better. You know, it was a lot of things going together, and they started to bring it back. They ended up having more KOs. They had the Adrenaline Rush, but it didn't matter. They just executed all game. So, yeah, we're going into Night Market. It should be a very different draft, at least in some way. But I'm interested in what the priority is, if it's those melee goalies or if both teams kind of see it as, you know, you trade one for the other.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm also curious to see if there's going to be more KO or more comps leaning into KO, because in Only Village it's very difficult to make use of a comp like that. Yeah. Very difficult to actually execute it. Night Market, it allows it a lot more. And for Brawlers as well, a pick like a Julie pops into mind as well. That is very lethal and very strong on that map. That's definitely going to hold some priority. So maybe you're also willing to give the enemy goalie their prio pick between the Atlas and the Dubu in turn of getting something like a strong Brawler forward combination for yourself. So we'll see what I feel like the Awakenings are going to dictate it quite heavily, so we'll see where those are going to lie.
Yeah, and I think you and I, and also players on both of those teams, know about the win rate of 3Z Breezy on Juliet.
Yes.
So I think that is going to be the priority. You're either picking it or you're banning it here if you are Go. So we'll see with the Awakenings if that possibly changes it, but I think no matter what, you're going to see Julie gone by the time Soompo or Cortex is picking. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they go instead. I think the Asher looked really strong, not always as consistent on other maps where, you know, their game plan, like we talked about in the middle of the game, was so clear as far as just push that one lane. You have the Dubu wall, the Asher wall. I think you can make that happen on Night Market as well, but we'll see what they go for if they end up changing it up. It is the Dubu band away, so we'll see if that Julie goes to this first pick here. As Aerials, Might of the Colossus, I think will kind of give something for most characters in the game. So a bit of a more neutral start, no Adrenaline Rush or anything like that. But yeah, I would expect Julie in this first pick slot here.
Yeah, most definitely. With a little bit of size as well, she's going to do fine. It does feel like Go is just going the safer route, saying, you know, this Dubu was a really big issue for us in this Only Village game. Yeah. And Night Market defensively as well. It's not quite the same map, but it kind of plays similarly. So you just don't want to deal with it outright. And they had the Asher pick coming through here as well, just saying, you know what, hey, these two picks work really well for New and Oni Village. This Awakening start kind of allows for a similar game plan. We're just not giving you either of them, and we're just going to play them ourselves. Now, I'm not certain if this is going to be a forward Asher or if Shape might be cooking with a goalie on Asher, because I know he plays it. I don't know where he thinks it's in the meta right now. I would probably lean more towards Snake playing the Asher, but I'm always down to be surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe they haven't even decided yet either. It might be a flex pick for them here as well, which will give them a little more optionality here. The Kai being first pick, I know that Gramella has really valued that pick in this meta the entire time. He said that Kai, he thinks, is maybe the strongest midfielder, at least when it's not a clear damage start. So A, or possibly, no, it is A taking it because they picked Atlas second. So yeah, we'll be on the Kai there. With this aerial start, I think will be really strong for them. Julie does end up going all the way down here to pick number 4. So that means it will be the Asher goalie. Potentially they hadn't decided yet, as we said. And it is going to be 3Z Breezy on X here. Going to have a lot of scaling, and you're starting with that Might of the Colossus. But it does feel like those early sets might be very favored for Go.
Yeah, most definitely, because you just have so much immediate pressure off of the forward pairing, Juliet and Estelle on the baseline. So much value in these abilities and in that force. So, and Atlas has long cooldowns. Without Awakenings, he's going to be run out of those cooldowns fast, which means there's going to be plenty of avenues for them to score through. However, I do feel like if this game is going anywhere past like set 4, set 5, I'm heavily starting to favor Zoom Polar, because this X can be such a menace with the right Awakenings, and like you said as well, it's a might start already. So any really great for the X, it's just amplified even more, as now he also gets damage to be playing for. And the issue that I usually see with X as well is that he's very immobile, very much just stationary up front. Well, if you have a Kai behind you that's just going to be running across the entire map with aerials, I don't think that's really a problem anymore for you.
Yeah. It does feel like the Asher will definitely, I would assume, go here, especially with the might start, which means that X isn't going to exactly have that condition of killing the goalie, but it's going to have to be the midfielder that you're going to be targeting. It's going to be the scaling as well. That also means the Asher will have a lot of power and potentially be able to fight back as well. So I think either team, once we get into more drafts, will kind of have the optionality of going more into KO, going more into just finding those barriers. But both of these teams are going to be ready for that potential adaptation. But yeah, after that draft, I'm still really surprised to see that it's Snake who ended up getting the Julie in that 4-5, and immediately, as I'm saying that, finds a KO straight away on A on the Kai there.
Yeah, that is the thing you want to watch out for, right? Because that Juliet is going to be an absolute menace. Barrier down, both barriers down from the side of Zoom Polar now, as Go's immediately starting off with a power play here, trying to get the core into the death as well. The Fool holding on for now. Threezy's taking a lot of damage as well. Atlas Ultimate coming out to save him there a little bit. The Snake's trying to dribble at the bottom, gets interrupted by Threezy. Shape playing in a very aggressive line, but it's being rewarded. Gets a KO. That Pauldrons that you mentioned coming in together with that Might, just giving enough power to just take him out off the map. And even though the game's basically just started, we're 40 seconds in, 2 KOs have already been found by the side of Go.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot of XP as well for that Julie. If they do end up winning the draft, we'll put them in a good position here. As Gramella going into the corner, and the Fool doesn't end up using the flip. Tried to use the primary, but the core just got a little bit behind him, so it will be the first point going for Go. It took them 9 points for that to happen last time, so that has to feel good here. And they have a ton of energy on their side that they saved as well.
Yeah, didn't even have to use a flip. You just keep all your energy. You have 3 flips available, basically. Meanwhile, 3Z and A don't have the same energy because they got taken out once, right? So only the Fool has flip, has to burst it here as well. Snake does almost die here, will probably end up dying. The Atlas Ultimate is not going to help Snake there. It's going to come out either way, though. Scrimella's on the attack again to get this Estelle KO found in the end. And Snake's taken off the map, and now it's time for Soon Polar to get an attack going and get these barriers down.
Yeah, beautiful job running on the edge. Snake there bought him a little bit of time and meant that 3Z had to use more cooldowns to find the KO, and that means that they're not able to get both barriers on the power play there, but both team is able to keep one up for now. Gramella using the flip now, the expanse comes out, and then a KO as well from the Atlas primary means that it's another power play for 3Z and A here. Snake trying to find a KO, and the flip will have to be used by A pretty soon here as they find a second one. Shape doesn't use it, so it goes down. A might get KO'd here if they're not able to convert immediately, so really this point is still in the balance even though they found 2 there.
Even though, like, looking at I was aware there's going to be KOs looking at both of these comps. It feels like there's too many KOs though. It's just kind of going back and forth all the time. And if that's a gameplay that we're going to be looking at, your positioning is going to be so important, because you do not want to be giving anyone free KOs, and especially the side of Go has so much pressure around the edges with a Juliet and a Pauldron's Asher in the back as well. So as long as I think Soonpolar Cortex can be wary of that, they are going to be in a good position, but for now they still need to find the first goal of the game.
Yeah, and even beyond the dash punches, like the might means that these combos, even if they don't knock them out, find so much damage. As you see, Threezy already staggered here. Great strike shot from the Fool, keeps it on offense for now, but it is Snake now dribbling in the bottom. A has to win some important strike wars, and he does, just running all around and keeping the core from getting back means Threezy's able to heal up, and we'll see if he can get involved in the play once again, as so many strike wars, so many interactions won by A, sets up the offense here in a good position, but there is a lot of energy coming online for Go here.
Yeah, 2 flips available on both the forwards. Meanwhile, Threezy fighting for his life on very low HP. He needs to be careful. Snake probably just looking to get a kill with that flip, and will find it. As the attack is now being built, it's a 3v2 for Go. Can they find the barrier off the Fool? He does have a flip available, but the barrier does drop. The strike wasn't there in time. As now Grimella jumps up, the flip coming up from the Fool. A gonna be able to receive that core, but Grimella still on the attack. Will probably want to use the flip soon. Almost doesn't have to with a piercing jump, but a beautiful flip into Snake's dash punch will do the trick. And Go going up 2-0 in the set.
And despite how different the game has looked from that first Oni village, every point is still taking just as long. It's still, those melee goalies are able to defend so well right now against the attack, against power plays even, that it still really comes down to the execution of not just the kills, but finding those KOs in difficult positions. And Grimella is doing a beautiful job executing, finding that second barrier. That means they'll be going down quick as Threezy uses the X Maximus, tries to find something here, but they just don't really have the KO pressure in this point to put it on. Shape uses the flip there. Threezy, though, winning the strike war means that it does get open here. He'll try to set up the flip for A. Used a little bit far away that all 3 members are able to get there in there and strike, and they don't convert it yet.
Yeah, but Threezy does have a flip up front. It does get defended, but A is there to cover. It gets the goal in, and it gives you the first goal for Soonpolar in this game. And looking at the energy overall, it does seem roughly even, but a slight advantage towards Go, which is not what you like to see if you're Soonpolar, because you're still down 2 goals as opposed to 1 that Go needs.
Yeah, and Threezy's still not at an evade yet, so watch for a dash punch potentially, as the Fool does put down the ultimate to heal A. But it means that they lost both barriers, and Snake, right as it goes away, finds the KO there. Grimella covering the out clear with the ultimate as well. I mean, it's a first set going toward Go, their first of this series, and that has to feel great after how that first game started. And really just so much momentum, and all the KOs being found on Snake means they're going to get the first pick here. Going to really go for the extra special to deny it away from Atlas, because really you've seen that their win condition has been those KOs.
Yeah, most definitely, and it makes so much sense to get rid of that as well, right? Because not only is it good to deny it off on Atlas, the Juliet ultimate is doing so much work as well, just to keep pressure up front, and also kill confirm, right? You do have a lot of damage just passively by Asher and Estelle behind you, so it's going to help quite a bit on that front as well. Across the draft, though, you just got a lot of like scaling picks. I don't think there's any like large standout one. You get a Spark on Threezy, which could be dangerous further down in the game. You get some more HP and movement speed on Shape, which is going to allow him to actually be even more aggressive than he's already been, which is going to do a lot of work for him as well. But I feel like as a whole, nothing insanely game-changing picked up. So I feel like we're going to look at roughly the same game that I've been looking at in the first set.
Yeah, but the draft order does mean when you lose a set and you're able to get the single spark and no other sparks showed up, that is really strong for Threezy here, and I think X is one of the best users of those sparks. So that could be some scary scaling here. I think A is the only one too unhappy with this draft. You didn't really want the Stinger, most likely, but it is finding a lot of damage onto Grimella right there. He does get staggered right here. No pressure going on the KO, instead just the pressure on the goal, but Grimella is able to dash back. A KO is found on him, but it did mean that he extended the point here. We'll see what Snake and Shapeshifting can do.
Yeah, Threezy also very low, tries to farm for this flip, I'm pretty certain, as the attack's going to be built again. Fool has a flip as well, Shape pulling onto the defense. Snake also getting low, flip having come out by Threezy, flip being answered by Snake as well, as now both brawlers are staggered. It's just a battle of who's going to be taken out first. No, Threezy does stay alive, the dash punch doesn't connect, as now A's trying to get the build up top again, with Shape and Grimella holding it down so well defensively.
Yeah, and everyone who is low just fighting for that speed gate there, they end up sharing it. It means no one can really KO each other, as A, very quick actions by Shape, is able to keep that up. We'll see Threezy trying to stay alive with this Celestial intervention. Snake almost KO'd as well, but doesn't even get staggered, so the pressure won't quite be there as Threezy trying to find these opportunities, just barely misses the shot right there, so it'll continue to go.
Yeah, and it's still going back and forth. Chaos trying to be found. Snake almost finding one, but the defense from the Fool is going to be good enough. The flip not having to be used by Shape just yet. Asher just really being that strong defensively. Pip coming out, and the dash by 3Z. He's going to read the clear, and a point that was being battled for so long does go to the side of Soon Polar.
Yeah, beautiful execution. And this game just feels so much more back and forth than the other one. Feels like both teams have similar game. They're going for those KOs, and they're both trying to get through these melee goalies on the power plays. As Shape has to dash down to make sure the double barrier doesn't happen. Snake with the dash through puts a lot of damage onto A, but it seems like in this set he's been able to do a good job staying alive so far, as he will into the side. Every time that Pauldron's Asher ultimate goes clear, it's a lot of damage that they end up not taking, so that time it means big things as Grimella uses the flip here, and we'll see if they KO pressure now that he has no energy.
I do believe so. 3Z could be starting to look for a little bit of a cheeky combo towards Yet, but as of right now, the attack's going to be on the barrier. Flip not being used by 3Z Yet, trying to get the barrier without having to use it, as it does go out to try to KO Grimella. Grimella holding on to dear life for now, as the KO isn't found just yet, but he's still going to be so careful with his positioning not to be taken out just off the map right now.
Yeah, great passing from Snake, and Grimella gets it on offense for just a moment there, but the Fool is doing a great job of just core, I think exactly where Soon Polar Cortex needs it, really setting A up for success as they almost get the barrier, but 3Z going down. The speed of this Kai means that the power play gets stalled out for a little bit, and the angle there goes wide, so still no barriers found. 3Z going to be back in just 2 seconds. They get one. We'll see if they can convert the second, but flips burn there and no barrier found.
Yeah, no barrier found. We're in an even game state, and the attack's still going in favor of Go right now, but the defense remain. The Fool is going to hold strong as they're trying to get the core over to Shape, but even if you do get it there, Shape does have a flip available on top of just being an Asher defensively, right? So we'll see if they're going to be able to find an angle. The core going really fast into their half again, but the defense from both of these goalies are it's just so strong and so difficult to get past as of right now.
Yeah, and I've been really impressed by A in this game. And if you think about all the other players have, as they open the barrier there, have LANs or they play traditionally on servers that are good for them, but he's Canadian. He's usually on very high ping, and I bet it has to feel good right now playing on 16, 20 ping, whatever they're on right now. And I think he's really showing out in this game, controlling the midfield and making use of that speed, winning so many strike wars. But once again, it's just an even game state. They're trying to get the core to 3Z in a good that flip, but not much pressure being put quite yet.
Yeah, the flip from Grimella doesn't really find its target either there, which isn't really great because now you have an energy advantage for the side of Soon Polar. 3Z up front will use it, but it gets offended. Grimella there to strike it. Snake is going to use that ultimate to get it out again and again. It's just a lot of like contention around that midfield. Both sides are just like looking for that one mistake, for like that one misposition for a KO or a misuse of an ability defensively, but just both teams are just playing it out so cleanly and so excellently that it's just not happening, which just draws out these points for so long.
Yeah, the Fool pushed back a great clear there as the dash does stun him, but he found it just barely in time, but no that time. Great use of that extra special that Snake in the last draft as they'll try to set it up to him now. The flip up that time and great patience to win the strike war against Snake, but still a lot of pressure for them. We'll see what the X can do with those slick kicks, but once the core is away, it's just so hard to set up 3Z in a good here as he takes a lot of damage in the corner.
Yeah, the core immediately going back into the A's hands, so 3Z trying to get it past the defense here, and will find the angle, and I feel like that's almost the only angle that he could have found there to find the goal. This is going to put Soon Polar Cortex up 2-0 in a set that, again, just feels like we've been sitting here for ages already, because it's just such a heavy back and forth.
Yeah, already 3 members set level 8 here in set 2, and the Fool and Shapeshifting have both been doing such a great job in this game, and also those characters right now on this map, especially when you're not finding quite as many KOs. It does feel like the KOs have been a lot more scarce in this second set, even though no clear survivability was found apart from on the Asher with the peak performance, but the Asher wasn't getting KO'd anyway. So it may be just better execution, better jobs evading this damage, but the game really has changed from that first set.
Yeah, most definitely. In the first set, there was a lot of like feeling out, where can I stay, where can't I stay, and at this point it's been figured out, right? A is being everywhere on the map, but in the places where you can get dash punched as of right now. which makes it so much easier for him to position. Same thing for Grimella as well, right? Being so aware of where that danger zone is and just playing around it. As A, though, with a beautiful run-up, will get 2 barriers there for free. Threezy's taken off the map, but the power play, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to get it past the Fool with a flip on Atlas.
Yeah, the Asher ultimate doing a great job there. Feels like they haven't been able to set much on offense with them to this point. Grimella with the dash range is able to catch that core on the bottom, which could have been a little bit scary. But now trying to win this to Snake, trying to get it through. Threezy doing a good job with that size, just standing right in front. A beautiful job with the X Maximus there. Means it's a 3-0 set for Soon Polar. They tie this game up, and this draft I think is going to be really important. You had that single spark on Threezy Breezy last time. He's going to be picking 3rd or potentially 4th, actually 5th in this draft, but we'll see what he can find. Just the 1 spark showing up, someone's probably going to have to deny it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, there's going to be 2 people from Go picking before him, and there's Quick Strike, 1-2 punch, Spark of Eternity.
Adrenaline Rush as well.
Adrenaline Rush as well. X is getting something good. So at this point, I think Go just picks for what they do best and what they deal best with. So they do deny the Spark, they don't want to deal with that scaling, and they get Quick Strike for Snake, which is very high value as well. But the 1-2 punch is going to be so much damage on the X, and also Missile Propulsion Atlas. I don't know, like, you've probably played it plenty as well. That is disgusting.
And Siege Machine and Aerials. So
that's all.
He has absolutely everything possible to help out the offense here with these primaries and just poke the core away from Snake every time that he's getting it. You see right there, he's setting up Snake with these primaries, and it's going to be, I think, really a powerful tool for their offense, as much as you talk about the Atlas being a defensive weapon, of course.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even think he's a defensive weapon anymore. This one is an offensive weapon because he's just going to clear the entire map with that range. I didn't even realize that. But as of right now, Go is the one on the attack. Snake taking a lot of damage, but the barriers are down on the side of Soon Polar. They're trying to get the second one off of Shapeshifting, but I cannot find it. The dash punch going into the expanse there. So Snake not able to get value out of it. Threezy trying to run up and get something out of it. The barrage almost getting rid of Snake there, as Threezy's just trying to kill confirm on him. And 8 holding on to core. The Giga coming through as well, and Snake still not dead. Almost. Threezy the one dying, but in the end it wasn't enough. Flip coming up from Mela, but being answered by the Fool, and now power play for Soon Polar.
Yeah, and not just the range that the Fool is going to be able to help. That time he was able to confirm the KO, and the extra damage from the missile prop from the Siege Machine as well is going to be a big weapon for them as he tries to set A up. Using this speed, almost has a flip, and trying to set Threezy up. A great job winning that there. Snake and the Fool. The 1v1 is won by the Fool, and won again a second time. Now the flip will be used by A, and the is just defending everything right now. They're trying to set up Threezy now as the field turns, potentially Snake going for the dash as well, but it just feels like this Atlas is absolutely impenetrable, and the just can't stay up for long enough with that projectile range. And that time it's Threezy finding it in the corner. The dash is just a little bit too late from Shape, and all the momentum here has shifted now to Soon Polar Cortex.
And what a performance by the Fool, that defensive fortress there. So many attacks just excellently cleared, sending it to the sides where the side of Go cannot interact with it at all, making it so difficult to really be trying to get these attacks through. And I mean, if you have a defensive performance like that, if you have Fool playing like that, I'm not sure how Snake and Grimmel are going to get past them, because what are your most consistent tools going to the score if you are Go? It's going to be a dash punch off the Julie, it's going to be the piercing shots, but if those get answered like that, it's going to be really difficult. But obviously I'm also a little bit cursing it because both the barriers are already down, so we'll see.
Yeah, but it was a good job by the Fool. He made them use the flip, so they don't really have anything at the moment for this goal. And it feels like, yeah, with how many tools that Atlas has and how well the Fool is playing, they have to kind of find the KOs. They have to put their sights onto A, most likely, potentially Threezy. They have the Adrenaline Rush just like last game on Grimella here too, but it just doesn't feel like they can make use of that, and it's them who get KO'd right now. Grimella goes down from his former teammate, Threezy Breezy, and A will try to set up the situation here. The primary, I believe, still up for Shape, so they might not be able to do it, and a great job by Snake, really, on the defense there. Didn't even make Shape do much that time, and Grimella is back on the pitch.
Yeah, the strike layering is just so excellent from both of these teams here. Threezy trying to get an attack through the bottom though, and it's largely just Soon Polar that is in control of the core, trying to get these attacks going, get the second barrier now, open nets on both sides. Threezy almost getting connection there, but the defense from Shape is still holding strong. A now running up as well on this Kaya. KO being found by Threezy there, flipping forced to be used by Snake, and A just gonna calmly get the core all the way up to Threezy to get another goal for Soon Polar, and they're just playing this out so well as they're going into another 2-0 lead in the set.
Yeah, that's 5 points in a row for them, as close as things have been. And yeah, you've seen a few pitches on the goal line there on Shape, who has the pauldrons but you know, the knockback reduction isn't there like it used to be. And 3Z this time does find a KO on Snake, a rare mistake, I think, as far as survivability from Snake, who's usually so good at that, but the play does get stalled out a bit. The only barrier found is on the other side, so a good job by Go to stall that out. And maybe that can mean Snake and Grimella set up for a KO of their own, but it just feels like they're never able to use those cooldowns offensively and to try to put damage, so they can't get those Adrenaline Rush procs that they need.
Yeah, it's because they're under so much pressure all the time, right? That range on the Atlas, basically, even if he's in goal box, he feels like a second midfielder with that ability. And obviously, A, being everywhere on the sky, having so much movement speed, it makes it so difficult to really get yourself into a position where you can attack the enemy net comfortably without much issue. So we'll have to see if they maybe can find an adjustment, or like you said, the KOs, but it's just so difficult to find those KOs against such experienced players. As another barrier drops Flip coming out by 3Z, does not find the goal yet, but Grimella's so low, is going to be at risk of dying here as well, because the Atlas is going to do a lot of damage with that missile prop as well. Or 3Z could just decide to hunt them down. The attack's still alive. Snake, beautiful dribble in front of the net, will use the flip. Can he find the goal with it? And yes, the angle is found. A not able to get there in time. And that is a much needed goal for Go, because that breaks the streak from Soon Polar.
Yeah, and even though it's not game this time, it kind of feels like in the last game, they were up 0-2 in that last set. They started to find things turned around. And like, while you were talking in that last set, there were windows where A had absolutely no energy. He was about half stagger. But because they're playing defense the whole time, there's just no opportunity to try to find those Adrenaline Rush procs like they could here. A, without a flip, but the offense is just so consistent that they can't make it happen. But in the last one, they were able to convert enough to find that goal. We'll see what they can do now, as they are having to play a little bit more defense. Shape loses the one barrier there, but still has it up, and the Giga Blast from A ends up sending it a little bit backwards. Grimella pretty low here, but we'll see if they can find any KO pressure here. 3Z, once he has that X Maximus, he's going to have his sights set on Grimella.
Yeah, 100%, but as of right now, Snake's trying to get a dribble up front, but with a three-man defense, it's difficult to get it through. But a beautiful blink by Grimella will get the barrier, almost a goal as well. Snake does get the dash in, and a much-needed goal now, putting us into a 0.5. And I feel like that's going to be such an important point as well now, because that's going to give you the set advantage. It's going to put you one set victory away from winning this game. So this is going to be arguably one of the most important points of at least this game.
Yeah, and Grimella with absolutely no energy and Snake about to have a flip means they want to find stuff quick in this point, and they haven't quite found the offense yet. Snake has the flip now, so that'll be some KO pressure to anyone who dares to go near the edges by him. Snake, like in these last points, has done it all. 3Z uses the flip to try to find a KO, but just not in a great spot, so it is set up there. And Grimella with a beautiful job, so maybe the tides are turning here. Maybe this is the momentum. As much as it has felt like Super Polar Cortex, if they can find the point right here, they'll be in the lead of this game and able to find some scaling of their own as the core goes a little bit backwards, but Shape is big enough to catch it. And Snake trying to find this last goal.
Oh, almost gets it through, but the defense from the Fool is holding on. A now trying to get a counter push going, but Shape being so aggressive there, using a flip as well to just keep it in the enemy half, knowing that the Fool has low cooldown, so they want to take maximum usage out of that. That's a primary, will get it out, but Shape again there to just answer it immediately. Snake's taking a lot of damage now, needs to be a little bit careful, but the core still going into the half of Soon Polar Cortex. They can't really find themselves in an attacking position. The dash punch not finding the KO just yet there though, as the core again goes into the Fool's hand. 3Z trying to do something, but the Asher ultimate will just completely stop that. And flip coming out from the Fool to keep the point alive for them. Snake and Grimella still very much on impressive force here though, as now 3Z trying to get something on Shape.
Yeah, great dribbling from Shape, keeps it away from 3Z for long enough that they're trying to set up Snake again, but you just see the health bars of Snake and Grimella slowly being whittled down, especially by these Atlas primaries that their clocks might be ticking to get KO'd here. But A finding himself low a bit, but he has that Atlas primary, but it's just going back and forth. The goal needs to be found, it feels like, from Go here to keep their momentum up, but they've had these last 2 points as Grimella tries to set Snake up, but just a great job by A and the Fool of not letting him get those opportunities. A great clear by Shape gets it to him for a moment, but the Atlas doing a great job of putting it away. And now 3Z set up for an opportunity to try to find it, dribbling all around, and he ends up getting it. A crazy mix up there, has the flip. Shape uses it first, so the pressure is on, but hits it right down to Grimella, so it will be set up. Now Snake's gonna have a flip of his own, and we'll see if he can convert it.
We'll see if he can. The push comes through. Snake has a flip. Will use it right now, and the pitching shot comes through. The Fool is able to answer it successfully. As the 3Z is now trying to get the attack going. Energy bar's not that high anymore across the board, so we're going down to a very base level game. Just getting the strikes right, getting the abilities right. But this point's been going on for so long already. The tensions are running high. The stakes are high in this one as well. The attack's still being found. The Fool has a flip available defensively as well if he needs to use it, and does use it immediately here to just disarm that situation.
Yeah, and that's step one. They got through that. Now they need to get but Threezy with that 1-2 punch that he got in the last draft, the extra power he has as well, is able to convert that so much back and forth in that set. It felt like the momentum all was on that point, and it is. Soon Polar Cortex now one set away from taking this series. The Atlas will have the first pick, and that means he beats Estelle out for that hot shot, which I think is going to make their job even harder getting through here.
Yeah, if Atlas already had a really good time getting core into enemy half with all that range on primary, having hotshot now as well is just going to make that even stronger. You do get a consolation bulk up for the Estelle, which is going to help a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a win come for you, as some more speed finds its way onto Kai as well. Some size is going to be nice for Shape defensively, and a second spark pickup for Threezy is dangerous, because you're now in a situation that even if you win this next set for Go, you're gonna have to deny that spark off of Threezy, because I do believe there's still agility left in the pool.
Yeah, Shape decided not to go for the spark. He actually has agility,
yeah,
so there are none left. Yeah. He could have denied and made them go for the spark of leadership there, but instead just going for some more cooldowns on himself, which I think he really needs to get through this Asher, which has been a tall task as well. Snake finding himself low here, you know, not any more direct damage really found on their side, but the more cooldowns on X's means it's going to be a little bit harder to stay alive. And the Fool has just done such a good job of never getting by these Estelle primaries, which are always so scary and such a threat on this map. As they find a KO on Snake here, they have a little bit more damage, and Threezy is able to convert on that first one. The Asher ult is going to make it difficult, going to put damage on him as well, but the Fool with that primary setting up the offense. They have the goal open now, and Threezy didn't even have to use the flip yet.
Yeah, 2 flips available for the side of Soon Polar, and they still have a barrier advantage, so as of right now looking very favored for them, but the attack from Go are still alive. The flip has to be used by the Fool to dissolve that situation, as now Threezy's going to run into Shape. Shape's going to be able to hold on to it defensively though. Has a flip as well and does not use it, as Threezy just sends it right in between Grimella and Shape, neither of them reacting in time to just the pure speed of that core.
Yeah, the aim all day, like we saw in the last point of that last set, we saw in the first point of that set, has been on from Threezy. These conversions have been absolutely perfect. As much as we've talked about the Fool, Shape has been doing a great job, and when they get these open goal situations, it's been so difficult to convert, but he finds it there. Now dribbling to the bottom side, that 1-2 punch, it's so much power that these just get around where it's not possible for Shape to save some of these situations, and every time they're on offense, it feels like they have every tool that they need right now.
Yeah, most definitely. A barrier down on the side of Go already. Snake taking a lot of damage as well, and doesn't really want to use evades here, because if you do, you're losing out on the flip essentially. Gets down to put Stagger into now as well, as he almost gets taken out by Threezy. The attack now being built again by Soon Polar. Grimella has a flip available soon though. We'll see if he's going to use it. Shape again still holds one defensively, which can be quite valuable, as the Strike War win is going to be enough. But Threezy with the X Maximus will be able to find the KO power play now in favor of Soon Polar, as Snake is also put down into Stagger. If they chain this correctly, they could extend this power play. Almost finds the barrier though. Snake there, flip forced to be used by the Fool, as the attack has not found its target, and we're back to a 3v3 game state.
Yeah, once again, Snake on a power play, doing a great job of setting up, you know, keeping the core away from shapeshifting. As a great clear, the flip war was won by Threezy, but they're able to get it out there, and the core going now around to the Fool. A little bit of, you know, they haven't been able to put that point-blank pressure on him in so long, it feels like. Both Snake and Grimella finding themselves low. The first KO found by Threezy right there, but the Asher ult does get the core away, so nothing found yet, but the aim over and over by Threezy. These conversions have just been perfect, and they're just 1 point away.
Yeah, Threezy's just doing such a good job at finding these angles in front of the net. Shape on the Asher pick can do defense really well if you're playing into him, but Threezy's continuously finding these angles around him, which makes it so difficult to get the Valley out of the play. Snake trying to find a KO there as well, but a great evade by A is going to keep him alive. The Atlas ultimate coming out now as well to get some of that energy back, as now Threezy's trying to get the attack going up top. Both barriers still alive on both sides. Threezy with the X Maximus trying to get the force through, but the strikes are going to be clean from the side of Go, as now Snake's trying to get one barrier. Does find that the Fool still holds a second one though. Grimella taking a lot of damage as well. Needs to be careful to not be taken off the map either. A beautiful dash punch by Snake will do the trick, as it's now an open goal on the side of Soon Polar.
Yeah, rare mistake by the Fool there. Didn't use the evade there. Now has a flip though for this open situation, but it is a big mountain for Polar to try to come back from. You know, both goals open. The flip, Grimella, Snake pressuring and getting close to the flip as well. But A with the speed, the Fool with so much range, it's so difficult for them to get Snake in those positions where he can potentially hit stun the goalie, and it feels like right now that's all you have to have. You have to have that checkmate situation because the Fool is not making a lot of mistakes right now.
Yeah, very much so. They even rotated up shape a little bit, and the gas occurs reigns supreme as the strike does find its way past the Fool. And more importantly, they were able to find this goal without really using a lot of energy for it. Shape and Snake will have their flip soon. 3Z has a flip available as well, but both A and the Fool have no energy to be working with, which could even open up our opportunity for a KO, but no! KO found by the Giga Blast as the power play from Zoom Polar Cortex is now live.
Yeah, Grimella goes down, but Snake, like he's done all day, doing such a good job in these power plays of not letting the core get past him. It means that he's going to take a little bit of damage. Doesn't have any energy either, but 3Z taking some as well and has the flip, so potentially some there. But if we go back to the first set that they were able to win, it was the KOs that they found on 3Z, on A as well, and it just feels like they never have the opportunity to set those up like they did last time.
Yeah, most definitely not, especially because the Fool is just so on top of his ultimates as well. It just makes it very difficult to actually find them and convert them, as now they're trying to get a second attack going. Zoom Polar Cortex not able to find the barrier. The ultimate from Shape is going to be enough to get the top barrier out. Grimella almost taken off the map, doesn't have an evade either, so surely going to be the next target of 3Z as he's trying to dash in. Shape holding on defensively, Flip having to be used by A to stay alive. And both of the teams, again, just fighting for core control in that midfield area. The barrier does, in the end, drop on the side of Zoom Polar and Go, trying to now convert this into a goal. Can they find it? No, Strike War wins all around the board for the Fool.
Yeah, Grimella did a great job setting up the offense there, found the barrier, set up Snake for some options as well, finds the hit stun, but the core isn't able to come with it, so Grimella will have to set up Snake again, and 3Z, this is what we saw in that last set when it's these overtime positions, that 1-2 punch is going to make so many red core situations, and if they can get the goal open here, they'll just need one goal, but it is Snake and Grimella who are doing a great job on this point of keeping the pressure on the Fool, but he still has the flip. It's going to be a lot to get through here still.
Yeah, most definitely, but the dash punch will do the trick, and that's going to put Go just one goal away from... keep in mind, going set 5, yeah. This is still set 4. I feel like this is going to be one of the most tiring games I can imagine because both of the goalies are doing so well defensively, and you just have to attack over and over and over again until you find the results, as we're now going into, despite the flip being found, but no barrier dropping for it, as now the side of Go are trying to get the barrier off of the Fool, but the Strike War wins by A in the middle are just so crucial.
Yeah, Grimella, beautiful job on defense there and is able to stay alive as well, but 3Z takes down Snake, and this could be what they need. This time it's Grimella trying to play hero ball in the midfield on this power play, and so far is able to do it, is able to stall out a lot of time with that middle situation, and even as the Fool is helping the offense with these primaries, they're not able to get anything, and it just feels like even when the power plays start, that's when the defense gets better somehow for the team that's fighting against it, and now a lot of damage is being found on A. He still has the evades, so not at too much risk right now, but we'll see if Snake will continue to posture for that dash punch KO, but it's really anyone's here, and it is Grimella who goes down. The same thing we've seen over and over. Let's see what Snake can do to try to help on this defense as he nears a flip and is able to stall out a lot of this power play already.
Yeah, and it's a power play just completely survived. Again, not a single barrier dropped on either side as Grimella immediately tries to get the attack going again. 3Z with the X Maximus was going to be able to find one barrier. Flip coming up by the Fool, not finding the core. Snake has a flip available as well now, potentially trying to eye A here for a dash punch flip KO, or just holding it to maybe get for a double play. The ultimate though from the Fool is going to come out. The flip does not have any value then for Snake, as now the attack is being built again for the side of Zoom Polar. Grimella interrupts it beautifully, but the Fool just playing around with it in the back, holding on to this defense so well.
Yeah, that was a huge turning point right there, that ult, because the flip was invested. The KO would have surely been found. Trying to set up Snake now, and neither team can get this barrier. You know, they can't even get one barrier on the Fool here as the expense hits the core 3 times. A great setup from Grimella there, not quite finding the angle for the double, and a beautiful gig up of A covers it up. 3Z with the flip now, sends it up to A. Situation on both sides. The flip is used this time, and it is A. Zoom Cortex taken in 2-0. It felt like everything was in the balance on that last point, and it is them moving on to winners finals as the 5 seed. The 1 seed goes down here as you see them celebrating right there, and what a run, what a couple of maps from them.
Yeah, and a really intense game, especially game 2, just going so back and forth. Game 1 as well, but in the end, they just were so much more consistent in their execution. They were able to find the results when they needed them the most, and very deserving to go into this winter finals. But to know disgrace to go, they played an excellent game, and even though they're seed 1, they're going to have to go down to the loser side, where I'm sure they're going to be thriving as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that ultimate by Atlas, by the Fool, in that last point was potentially a game-saving play, because if that KO goes down, they have the power play, they have the Adrenaline Rush proc on Grimella as well, and it all turns around. But you see the scoreboard there. I'm not sure if we saw the timer of how long that game was, but 372 redirects, 112 redirects from A here. And, you know, like we talked about going into this series, there's so many S-tier wins in this series, but it really was A and the Fool who are the only ones in this series who don't have any S-tiers that really turned up in that series. Their whole team, Freezy did a great job converting, and just a really impressive showing from them in that series.
Yeah, most definitely. Might not have an S-tier win, but you do have a NASA win, and that's going to make you hungry for more. That's going to make you hungry for a potential national season, and right now it's making you hungry for the LAN win.
Yeah.
And they're very much showing that right now,
yeah,
as they did find that series.
Just 2 more series for them, and they would have an S-tier win here,
yeah.
right off winning NASA. So a beautiful showing from them. We'll have our next winner semis game right after this, I believe. But if there's anything else you want to say, just an awesome series there. And like we've seen all weekend, I played in a few of those. I played in one against you. Those long games where you're both over 100 saves. It's grueling. And, you know, the team with the mental fortitude to win that, they really show you something.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like that's going to be the decider, especially in these top 8 games where everyone's so good at playing these goalies as well. It's just going to be who's going to be able to hold down longer, who's going to be mentally stronger for the entire game. And we'll see who's going to do best, as we still have plenty of exciting games ahead of us.
Yeah, a long day ahead. So we'll be back with our next game soon. Thank you for watching this series. And there you go.